Hello, writers. I think some of you might be ready to put some symbols in your writing, but you might need a little bit of help or support with that. So I created this video for you, and maybe it'll give you some ideas for how you can put some symbols in your writing to bring out that deeper meaning. A symbol is a thing that represents or stands for something else. Many people wear religious symbols because it represents their strong faith. If you want to try to put some symbolism in your writing, try to identify those central feelings, the deep feelings that you have in your story, and then brainstorm colors or objects or setting details that might connect to those feelings and fit into your story. For example, if a character goes from feeling anxious to relieved in your story, perhaps you describe them as wearing a dark hoodie that they're hiding behind because they are so anxious, they don't want people to see them. But then as they become more relieved and confident, maybe they hang that hoodie up and they're not wearing it anymore later in your story. Or perhaps you are feeling you're in a heavy mood, you're feeling gloomy or depressed. Maybe you describe how cloudy and dark it is to show that setting that reflects, that symbolizes that heavy mood. When I think about my mom, a deck of playing cards symbolized her way of always gathering people together and feeling connected with them. And I've written about her, and I bring those cards back into my writing when I write stories about my mom. So think, are there any symbols you could incorporate into your story for more meaning and elaboration? I'm going to show you a student example. First, I'll show you her story mountain, then her first draft, and then some of the work that she started to do with symbolism to get to that deeper meaning in her story. Here is Gracie's story mountain. She wrote a story about a basketball game she played, and she wrote the external events and then she got to the internal events. So if we take a look at the external first, the basketball game was going well until Tai Tai from the other team makes the winning shot. Her dad cheers more loudly for Tai Tai's team than her team. And Dad doesn't even notice her and walks straight past her toward Tai Tai. She tried to talk to her dad and get him to notice, but he just continues to talk about Tai Tai. And in the end, she gets really sad after her dad continues to ignore her, and she goes and cries in the bathroom. Boy, that's a sad story. And then if you look at the internal, she wanted to put those feelings in and a realization. So at the beginning, she's happy at first because her team is winning, but then she goes from really happy and confident because they're in the lead to disappointed because they lost by 1 point. And then she starts to feel kind of upset about her dad, who was cheering for Tai Tai, but she tries to brush it off. Then she becomes filled with anger because her dad didn't even notice her. And then she started to feel really sad because her dad continued to ignore her. And then she becomes even more sad and cry because she feels like her dad has forgotten about her. And then she realizes that she won't always be under her dad's spotlight. Here is Gracie's draft before she did her work on symbolism, and I typed it up because her notebook page was a little bit challenging to read. She titled her story The Basketball Game. I could hear the squeaking of sneakers on the polished wood gym floor as I dribbled the ball. "Over here!" Jamie yelled, waving her arms above her head. I made sure that there was nobody in the way, and I passed the ball to her. Jamie dodged her brother Jakey as he ran in front of her, and she caught the ball. Jamie dribbled the ball and passed it to Io. The basketball hit the gym floor and went straight into her hands. From her hands, it went straight through the hoop. "Yes!" I yelled. Tai Tai and Jakey's team had beat us the last time, but this time I was sure we had this. We were ahead by 2, and there were only a few seconds on the clock. All of our team's hard work was finally going to pay off. The smile on my face instantly disappeared when Tai Tai got the ball. He was one of the best players on their team, even though he was only 8. Tai Tai dribbled the ball to the other side of the court. Io followed right behind him, trying to get the ball. I looked at the clock. There were only 7 seconds left. Tai Tai dribbled around Io's figure that towered above him and shot the ball. It bounced off the backboard and went through the hoop. A 3-point shot. The crowd of parents in the bleachers were all on their feet clapping for Tai Tai. I remember feeling that huge wave of disappointment like it was just yesterday. So you can see over here some comments. This is what Jamie decided to try to add to the writing. She said, "The bracelet that Dad gave me fell off, me realizing that my dad wouldn't always be paying attention to me, that I wouldn't always be in his spotlight." This is what she added to her draft. As I punched the air in anger, the light brown beaded bracelet that my dad had given me slipped off my wrist and fell onto the gym floor. I quickly gathered the small round beads and the broken string, but one of the beads rolled under the bleachers before I could reach it. I put the beads and string into the pocket of my gray shorts and walked over to Jamie. I heard my dad's footsteps as he stepped down from the navy blue bleachers onto the dark yellow gym floor. And then she goes on to add that realization that the dad went over and was talking to Tai Tai and not her. And she thought, okay, I'm not always going to be in his spotlight. He's not always going to be paying attention to me only. Okay, writers, there's a little bit on how you can put some symbols in your writing to show the deeper meaning. If this is something that you'd like to try, let me know and I'd be happy to help you with it in our next class or two. Okay, thanks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.